Hey everyone, and welcome to this WAEC Biology Explainer. We've teamed up with QandAHelp.com, literally your ultimate exam prep partner to help you totally ace your biology paper. Today, we're going to break down a really fascinating biological concept, and we'll do it step by step. I'm so excited to help you master this, so go ahead, grab your notes, get comfortable, and let's just dive right in.
Okay, so we're looking at WASSCE Biology 2026 question 6 today. It asks, which of the following statements is correct about ecdysis? Is it A, contraction and relaxation of muscles for movement, B, pressure exerted on the body by muscles, C, increase in mass of endoskeleton, or D, periodic shedding of exoskeleton for growth? Now look, if this seems a little tricky at first glance, honestly, do not worry at all. By the end of this quick session, you're going to confidently understand the biology behind the right answer and exactly why the other options just don't make sense.
So right off the bat, our core keyword here is ecdysis. It sounds super technical, right? But it literally just means the process of shedding an old outer covering. That's it. It's a completely natural biological phenomenon, and you see it all the time in animals like insects, crabs, crustaceans. Whenever you spot the word ecdysis on an exam paper, I want you to instantly picture an animal basically just stepping right out of its old skin or shell.
Now, to fully grasp ecdysis, we've got to talk about the exoskeleton. An exoskeleton is a hard, supporting outer skeleton found entirely on the outside of an animal's body. Think of it like a really rigid, tough suit of armor that the animal wears on the outside. But, and here is the massive biological catch, this hard armor cannot expand. As the animal inside grows, the shell stays the exact same size. It is totally fixed. And this perfectly explains exactly why ecdysis is so crucial. Look at stage 1. You've got a small animal inside that old, rigid exoskeleton. As its body grows, well, things get pretty cramped in there. It's exactly like a growing kid who suddenly outgrows a really tight shirt. You just can't stay in a shirt that's 2 sizes too small, right? So we hit stage 2, where that old, tight exoskeleton literally splits open. And finally, in stage 3, a larger, much softer animal emerges. That soft new covering will eventually harden up into a brand new, bigger suit of armor. So this whole step-by-step necessity of shedding that tight shell just to create room to grow, that is the absolute biological core of ecdysis.
All right, let's jump back to our exam question and see how all this helps us. Let's look at option A, which suggests ecdysis is the contraction and relaxation of muscles for movement. Well, why is this wrong? Because contraction and relaxation of muscles literally just describes movement, period. Think about flexing your bicep. That's muscular action. It has absolutely nothing to do with shedding a tight outer shell. So we can go ahead and cross option A right off the list.
Moving right along to option B, which claims ecdysis is the pressure exerted on the body by muscles. Now, sure, muscular pressure might help an animal do various things, but it is absolutely not the definition of ecdysis. Muscular pressure isn't shedding an outer covering. So, yeah, option B is definitely incorrect.
Okay, let's tackle option C, the increase in mass of an endoskeleton. Let's just compare an endoskeleton, which is found inside the body, like the bones inside us humans, with an exoskeleton, which is on the outside, like an insect's hard shell. Ecdysis is specifically about shedding that outside covering. It has literally nothing to do with the mass of an inside skeleton. So option C, totally wrong.
Let's just take a quick breath and summarize our elimination game here. We systematically knocked out those first 3 choices. Option A is out because it's just about movement, option B is gone because it's just muscle pressure, and option C is out because it's talking about the completely wrong kind of skeleton, the endoskeleton. So by process of elimination, that leaves us with option D, exoskeleton shedding.
Let's break option D down word for word just to show you why it's the perfect match. The option says periodic shedding of exoskeleton for growth. Check out how these terms align. Periodic means it happens at intervals, because, the animal might need to do this a bunch of times as it grows up. Shedding means removing the old covering. We already know the exoskeleton is that hard outer shell. And for growth, well, that's the whole biological point. It creates the necessary space for a larger body. The whole shebang perfectly matches everything we just talked about.
So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that the correct answer is option D, the periodic shedding of exoskeleton for growth. By shedding that tight, old outer layer, the animal frees itself to grow bigger before the new shell has a chance to harden. I really want you to cement that biological reasoning into your minds for exam day.
Now, before we move on, I want to share a brilliant memory shortcut to make sure this concept sticks with you for good. Just link the letters E and X in Ecdysis to the exit of the old exoskeleton. It's honestly that simple. When you see Ecdysis on your paper, just tell yourself the old shell is making its exit.
All right, let's keep the energy high. We're going to do a rapid-fire quick quiz to see how well you're retaining this. Here's quick quiz number 1. Which animal on this list is most likely to undergo ecdysis? Is it A, human, B, grasshopper, C, goat, or D, fish? Think carefully about what kind of skeleton each of these animals actually has. And the answer is B, the grasshopper. If you got that right, fantastic job. And the biological reason is pretty straightforward. The grasshopper is the only animal on that list with a rigid exoskeleton on the outside of its body that it actually has to shed in order to grow. Humans, goats, and fish, we all have internal skeletons, or endoskeletons. Okay, let's keep that momentum going. Quick quiz 2. Why must an insect shed its exoskeleton? Is it A, to breathe faster, B, to change its food, C, to create room for growth, or D, to strengthen its muscles? What's the fundamental biological why behind this whole process?
The correct answer is C, to create room for growth. Remember our tight shirt analogy from earlier? That old, rigid skeleton is exactly like a shirt that is just way too small. It literally cannot expand as the insect gets bigger. So shedding it creates that absolutely essential room the insect's body needs to grow. You are doing incredibly well. Let's tackle our final question. Quick quiz 3. Another common term for ecdysis is A, moulting, B, germination, C, respiration, or D, circulation. We're trying to connect the fancy scientific term ecdysis to its everyday synonym here.
And the final answer is A, moulting. Moulting is just the everyday word for shedding an old outer covering. Building up this biological vocabulary is a real game changer. This way, if the WAEC examiners decide to throw the word moulting at you instead of ecdysis, you won't be tricked at all. You'll know instantly that it's the exact same process.
Well, what a fantastic explainer session today. You now know conclusively that ecdysis is the periodic shedding of an exoskeleton for growth. Huge congratulations on mastering this. Ready for more? Be sure to rush over to QandAHelp.com for your WASSCE, JAMB, and NECO prep. They treat all their subjects with this kind of in-depth, structured breakdown. But right before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought. If shedding an exoskeleton leaves an animal totally soft and defenseless, how in the world do you think they survive in the wild until their new armor hardens? Think about that. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.